Hello, I'm Philip Stoten. I'm at Apex 2019 on the Scoop Studio, and I'm joined by George Babka from Yamaha. George, great to see you again. Thanks for stopping by. Just wanted to get an update initially on what's going on, what's new with Yamaha, what you've brought along to the show.
Sure. So there's big news this year. We've released a new screen printer that'll automatically change over without operator interaction in less than 2 minutes, including removing solder from one stencil, changing out the stencil, placing solder on a new stencil, and being able to print within 2 minutes and under optimal conditions. Also setting tooling automatically. So typically in a line, the longest changeover time is a printer. It typically takes about 15 minutes. So if you change over 6 times a day, I can't do math, sorry, but if six times a day, that's an hour and a half lost, right? And if you can reduce that to less than 15 minutes for the whole day, then you can run an extra program down the line. So it's kind of like if you have a sports car, but you're driving it in this downtown, right? You're always hitting every red light, and if that time saved improves your operational efficiency. Yeah. So one of the things, I have a background in screen printing, and we've been told for years that hey, well, everything's been invented on printing. Now it's just about driving the price down, and Yamaha has been, over the last 7 to 10 years, has been releasing new features that are, pretty much significantly different and new on a screen printer, where everyone else is just kind of driving down to, well, what's the people just look at it as a box, So being able to add value in the entire chain in unique ways is something that's pretty exciting. So we're kind of calling it the time machine, right? So for once, we didn't actually do our own ad. We went to Yamaha US, the people who had, the motorcycles and everything else, and they actually put together an ad for us, and they were like, wow, this doesn't look like an engineer put this together, right? So I was like, hey, maybe I can buy one of those. But so that's one thing. And then we have the buzz about Factory 4.0, and we've been talking about that for a couple of years. We have an integrated dashboard system that you can drill down information on individual lines, machine status, history, defect data, and things like that. And also another viewer that can actually control in a placement machine. You can actually view every picture that was been taken on a specific device through the entire day if you're doing troubleshooting or whatever. So it's one of the questions we have is that we have all this data now. How large is that when you're running in a big factory, and how do you actually manage this data? So, but it's interesting. So Yamaha Intelligent Machinery, or Yamaha IM, as it's been known for years. Nobody really knows what IM means, right? So in Japan, they changed the name to be Yamaha Robotics. We've been robotics since the 50s. And suddenly all these young software engineers want to come work for a robotics company. So we have a whole bunch of people, young software engineers who are totally, adding massive amounts of value, and things that actually, a lot more eye-catching, So it's an exciting time. And so we're also trying to broaden our whole product spectrum by adding a solder paste inspector, storage towers, and for the first time this year, we have actually our robot group in the booth as well. So it's when we say, hey, well, we're Yamaha, right? Yamaha just in the industrial machines is a certain a large swath of manufacturing, but we're also tied to a much larger company. So we have side by side in there, these toys the things that we all want to own, right? The motorcycles and things like that. But it is it's a really a great synergy that we're getting with our marketing department and technologies from other divisions that get integrated into our products. So.
Yeah, and that's really valuable. Just going back to your printer.
Yes.
So the printer allows you to change from one job to another job, or you're able to stack multiple stencils in there. How far can it go?
What you can do is you load the next stencil that you're going to run in the back of the machine, okay? And then you can also you can set up a barcode triggered changeover. So you read a new barcode, or if an operator pushes a button to change over, it'll automatically pull the solder off of one stencil, pull that stencil out automatically, and move the other one in. And while it's doing that, I'm placing support pins for the next job underneath. Okay. So one of the things is when you have a 15-minute delay, not only does it affect operational efficiency, but that solder paste now becomes thicker. So sometimes you'll actually have to print it several times to get it back to a working viscosity. With this short changeover, it eliminates that requirement. We have some customers that buy 2 printers for a line. I'm like, well, I'm happy to sell you 2 printers, but you do that because it's like, well, if I have 2 printers and one's already set up for the next job, then I can get rid of this time delay. So this is a recognized significant feature. So it is something that when we're running demos on the machine, we're actually just showing it exchanging solder right now. But people coming up and going, "Can I see that again?" I don't know if I saw that right, but it's some it's a technology that we've borrowed from a completely different industry that putting it in ours, and so it's pretty cool.
Yeah, and that's part of the joy of being part of a large group like Yamaha.
Sure,
so
yes.
it adds a lot of value. George, thanks for stopping by. Thanks for the update.
Sure.
Pleasure to see you again.
You too.